Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the English Canvas. Today, we are going to take a deep dive into previous year questions on Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, one of the most important texts in modernist literature. These questions will not only help you in your exam preparation but also strengthen your understanding of the novel's characters, themes, motives, and narrative techniques. We will carefully analyze the best questions that have been asked in different years and see how they cover the core aspects of the novel. So make sure you watch this lecture till the end because it's going to be extremely helpful for answer writing practice as well. And if you find this session helpful, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for for more such detailed and exam focused lectures on English literature. So let's begin our discussion on Mrs. Dalloway. So the first question is, consider Clarissa as a foil to Septimus. Does the narrator of Mrs. Dalloway take sides? ये 2009 का क्वेश्चन है, 60 मार्क्स का. सो बेसिकली नॉवेल का सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट कंपैरेटिव एंगल है. यहाँ पर हम क्लेरिसा और सेप्टिमस के बीच का सिंबॉलिक कनेक्शन और कंट्रास्ट डिस्कस करेंगे. सबसे पहले एक इंट्रोडक्शन लिखेंगे हम अपने आंसर में. In this introduction, you can write Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway is a modernist masterpiece where the narrative juxtaposes Clarissa Dalloway, a highly society hostess, with Septimus Warren Smith, a shell-shocked war veteran. Both characters may seem poles apart, yet they function as foils to one another, revealing the novel's central concerns about life, death, sanity and the human condition. यहाँ पर कुछ की इश्यूज हैं जो कि इस क्वेश्चन में अनफोल्ड हो सकते हैं. द फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज, इन व्हाट वेज क्लैरिसा एंड सेप्टिमस एक्ट्स एज फॉयल, जो कि क्वेश्चन में भी मेंशन्ड है. And whether Wolf's character show any bias towards one over the other, ये भी हम डिस्कस करेंगे. तो क्लेरिसा एंड सेप्टिमस एस फॉल्स में कुछ सब पॉइंट्स हमें लिखने पड़ेंगे, तभी ये आंसर कंप्लीट आंसर माना जाएगा. तो सबसे पहला जो इनका इस पॉइंट का सब पॉइंट है वो है लाइफ वर्सेस डेथ. सो क्लेरिसा इज आउटवर्डली प्री ऑक्यूपाइड विथ लाइफ, parties and social appearance, but deep inside she reflects constantly on mortality, right? And Septimus, he is haunted by death and trauma, yet his breakdown paradoxically makes him more alive to raw emotions and then Clarissa, right? Second point is society versus isolation. So Clarissa is integrated into fabric of London society. She moves gracefully through her social world. On the other side, Septimus is alienated. He completely cut off, unable to communicate his inner suffering to anyone, even his wife. Right. Third point is sanity versus madness. So Clarissa represents a kind of social sanity, though she too suffers from inner emptiness. And Septimus, he represents madness. Sanity was represented by Mrs. Dalloway, Clarissa, and madness was represented by Septimus. So he represents madness, but his madness becomes a truth-telling force, exposing the cruelty and emptiness of society. Fourth point is material world and inner vision. So Clarissa lives in the material world, right? Material world altogether, sinking into visions. Sorry, Clarissa lives in the material life, her dress, her parties, her relationships, but she always haunted by an inner void. ये मटेरियल वर्ल्ड से तो काफ़ी, इसमें तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा ये ऑक्यूपाइड है, काफ़ी बिजी रहती है ये अपनी ड्रेसेस में, अपनी पार्टीज़ में, अपने रिलेशनशिप्स में, अपने दोस्तों में काफ़ी घिरी रहती है। बट कहीं ना कहीं शी इज़ ऑलवेज हॉन्टेड बाय एन इनर वॉइड। एंड ऑन द अदर साइड सेप्टिमस ही रिजेक्ट्स दिस मटीरियल वर्ल्ड। सेप्टिमस की लाइफ में ये मतलब इसने रिजेक्ट कर दिया इस मटीरियल वर्ल्ड को ऑल टुगेदर, एंड से ही इज सिंकिंग इन टू हिज विजन्स, hallucinations and memories of Evans, his dead comrade. तो यहाँ पर इन फोर, ये जो वो एक दो तीन चार पाँच सॉरी चार, इन चार पॉइंट से हमने ये तो बता दिया कि मतलब क्लैरिसा इज अ फॉल टू सेप्टिमस। अब सेकंड क्वेश्चन यहाँ पर ये कि डज द नरेटर ऑफ मिसेस डेलवे, आई इट मीन्स वर्जीनिया वुल्फ, डज द नरेटर टेक साइड? क्या उसने टेक साइड मतलब उसने कोई साइड लिया है? तो डज द नरेटर टेक साइड्स? सो इसका आंसर होगा वुल्फ्स नरेटिव टेक्निक। इस पॉइंट के डिफेंस में हम लिखेंगे वुल्फ का नरेटिव टेक्निक। सो यहाँ पर सबसे पहली बात होगी स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस की, दैट अलाउज us to enter both Clarissa's and Septimus' mind without judgment. And being the omniscient narrator, uh, the omniscient narrator does not favor one character, rather Wolf balances them. वुल्फ ने भी कोई बायस नहीं किया है दोनों कैरेक्टर में, दोनों कैरेक्टर्स के रिप्रेजेंटेशन में। भले ही नाम जो है नॉवल का वो क्लेरिसा के नाम पर है, मिसेस डैलोवे के नाम पर है, लेकिन फिर भी वर्जीनिया वुल्फ ने इन दोनों कैरेक्टर्स को काफ़ी बैलेंस किया है, showing both the vitality of Clarissa's world and the tragedy of Septimus' despair. However, making Clarissa momentarily identify with Septimus after his suicide, so here Virginia Woolf creates a deep connection between them. So in this way, the novel suggests that Clarissa and Septimus are two sides of the same coin, both comfort, confronting mortality, loneliness, and fragility of existence. सो ये सारे पॉइंट्स को कंक्लूड करके हम अपना एक अच्छा सा कंक्लूजन भी लिखेंगे आंसर में, लाइक क्लैरिसा एंड सेप्टिमस फंक्शन एज अ मिरर्स ऑफ each other, as one living in outer world of society and the other trapped in the inner world of trauma. The narrator does not take sides but rather allow readers to experience both realities. Woolf's brilliance lies in this balance, showing that sanity and madness, life and death, and deeply which are deeply intertwined. So in exam you can frame the answer by first defining the concept of a foil, right, and then showing parallels and contrast, and finally addressing whether Wolf shows bias. So इसका जो आंसर है इन अ सिंगल लाइन वो यही हो सकता है कि वर्जीनिया वुल्फ गिव्स इक्वल वेट बट सर्टनली कनेक्ट्स देम थ्रू क्लैरिसा's रिफ्लेक्शन ऑन सेप्टिमस डेथ, राइट। तो चलिए अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पर चलते हैं। In Mrs. Dalloway, we stay with Clarissa's consciousness for the most part. Do you agree? ये 2010 का क्वेश्चन है, 35 मार्क्स का। सो यहाँ पर भी हम स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस टेक्निक की बात करेंगे और नरेटिव फोकस को समझने के लिए ये क्वेश्चन बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है। तो चलिए डिस्कस करते हैं इसको भी। सो इन द इंट्रोडक्शन, Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway is a landmark modernist novel famous for its stream of consciousness technique. The narrative does not follow a single linear plot. Instead, it follows through the minds of different characters. While Clarissa Dalloway is a central figure of the novel, the narrative does not remain confined to her alone. This question asks us to examine whether the novel mainly stays within Clarissa's consciousness or whether it is more evenly distributed among different characters. सो यहाँ पर इस क्वेश्चन में हमको बात करनी है क्लेरिसा's कॉन्शियसनेस फॉर द मोस्ट पार्ट। सो क्लेरिसा's कॉन्शियसनेस एट द सेंटर। इसके कुछ सब पॉइंट्स होंगे, जैसे कि इसमें हम ओपनिंग सीन की बात कर सकते हैं। सो द नॉवल बिगिंस विद क्लेरिसा with the line Mrs. Dalloway said she would buy the flowers herself. From this moment, we are invited into her consciousness. Her thoughts about Peter Walsh, her memories of her native place, her reflections on love and aging, right? Second scene is we can consider in this answer, that is the party as central frame. So this entire novel is structured around Clarissa's preparation for and hosting for her party, right? So this gives the narrative a Clarissa centered frame. Events circle back to her world. Third is themes filtered through Clarissa. So, mortality, isolation, value of life, all are experienced more vividly through Clarissa's reflections. Even Septimus' death is interpreted at the end through Clarissa's moment of insight. राइट अब हम बात करेंगे इसमें अदर कॉन्शियसनेस की. सो जब नॉवेल में अदर कॉन्शियसनेस की बात होगी तो सबसे पहले बात होगी सेप्टिमस की. सेप्टिमस वॉरेन स्मिथ. So there's a he's a war veteran who suffers from shell shock, and Septimus' consciousness occupies substantial narrative space. His hallucinations, visions of Evans, his fear of doctors, and ultimately his suicide create a parallel narrative. Some critics even argue that Septimus is as important as Clarissa, representing the darker underside of modern society. दूसरा कैरेक्टर, दूसरे कॉन्शियसनेस की हम बात करेंगे थ्रू द कैरेक्टर ऑफ पीटर वॉल्श. So Peter's memories of Burton and his lingering obsession with Clarissa gives us another consciousness interwoven with her arts, with hers. कुछ इसमें सपोर्टिंग कैरेक्टर्स भी हैं लाइक रिचर्ड डेलवे, जो रिचर्ड डेलवे हो गए, और जैसे कि एलिजाबेथ हो गई, क्लैरिसा की डॉटर हो गई, लेडी ब्रूटॉन हो गई, या इसमें और भी बहुत सारे कैरेक्टर्स हैं. वुल्फ ओकेजनली मूव्स इनटू द थॉट्स ऑफ रिचर्ड डेलवे, लेडी ब्रूटॉन, एलिजाबेथ हु इज क्लैरिसा's daughter, and even minor figures like the old woman opposite क्लैरिसा's window. तो उनका भी कॉन्शियसनेस यहाँ पर देखने को मिलता है. अब एक टेक्निक की हम यहाँ बात करेंगे, क्योंकि इनर जो क्लैरिसा की कॉन्शियसनेस की बात हमने की है, स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस टेक्निक की बात की है, तो एक टेक्निक है दैट फ्लूइड शिफ्ट्स इन द कॉन्शियसनेस, हम उसकी भी बात यहाँ पर कर सकते हैं. सो वुल्फ यूजेस अ नरेटिव टेक्निक कॉल्ड फ्री इनडायरेक्ट डिस्कोर्स, which allows smooth movements from one character's mind to another without clear breaks. So the result is, while Clarissa anchors the novel, we often drift into the other character's consciousness. It's like a web with Clarissa at the center, but strands extend outwards to another. So यहाँ पर एक ये आर्गुमेंट भी है कि क्या हम क्लैरिसा के कॉन्शियसनेस के साथ स्टे करते, डू वी स्टे विद क्लैरिसा ओनली और नॉट. सो येस, फॉर मोस्ट पार्ट्स क्लैरिसा फ्रेम्स द नॉवेल, जैसे कि ओपनिंग सीन है, पार्टी सीन है, फाइनल रिफ्लेक्शन है. तो बीइंग द रीडर हम यहाँ पर क्लैरिसा के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सारी चीज़ें देखते हैं. क्लैरिसा being the central character of the novel, she frames the whole novel, and most themes are ultimately tied back to her consciousness, but not exclusively. Septimus sometimes occupies a major narrative portion, like without his perspective, Wolf's exploration of war, trauma, madness would be incomplete. So the novel's richness lies in its multiplicity of the voices. So to conclude the answer, we can write as well, like we do stay with Clarissa's consciousness for most the part, but Wolf deliberately shifts into other minds to show the interconnectedness of human experience. So Clarissa provides the structural and thematic center, while Septimus and other expands the scope of the novel to social, historical, and psychological dimensions. In your exam writing, you can conclude by saying Clarissa is the anchor, but Wolf's genius lies in refusing to confine the narrative to one consciousness. Instead, she creates a mosaic of minds united through time, memory, and existence. Right? अब चलिए नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पर चलते हैं. Show that although Mrs. Dalloway is centered on the protagonist's consciousness, it has an outside social historical dimension as well. 2011 का क्वेश्चन है, 30 मार्क्स का. सो इंट्रोडक्शन में यू कैन राइट वर्जीनिया वर्ल्स मिसेस डेलवे is often prescribed as a psychological novel because it focuses on the inner thoughts, memories, and emotions of Clarissa and the other characters. However, it would be mistake to see it as only a private internal work alongside the intimate portrayal of the consciousness, and the novel also reflects the socio-historical context of the post-World War One England. There's a society grappling with trauma, class division, imperialism, and rapid modernization. Thus, while Clarissa's consciousness anchors the novel, Woolf deliberately expands her canvas to include the larger historical realities of her mind. So, centered on protagonist consciousness, we can add some points. The first is stream of consciousness technique. So, Clarissa's thoughts and feelings about life, death, love, and memory dominate the world. The narrative flows through her consciousness, capturing her private and inner world. The second point is psychological death. So, Clarissa reflects on her past at Burton, her choices, marrying Richard instead of Peter, and her fear of aging and mortality. So, the novel is intimate and personal, showing the labyrinth of her mind. यहाँ पर एक सोशियो हिस्टोरिकल डायमेंशन भी देखने को मिलता है. इसका फर्स्ट पॉइंट होगा इम्पैक्ट ऑफ वर्ल्ड वॉर वन. सो सेप्टिमस वॉन स्मिथ embodies the trauma of the war, his shell shock, his hallucinations, and suicide highlights the psychological cost of war, and his story shows how war reshapes society, leaving invisible wounds. Second point is class and social hierarchy. So, Clarissa is a part of upper class elite, hosting parties for politicians and aristocrats. Yet, Woolf subtly critiques this class privilege by contrasting it with lives of others, such as Septimus, a veteran ignored by society, and the working class figures. Third point is imperialism and politics. So figures like Lady Bruton discuss colonial policies. Richard Dalloway moves in political circles, symbolizing the conservative establishment. Even Clarissa's party becomes a microcosm of British high society, right? Fourth point is modern London as a setting. The novel captures London in 1923, Big Ben, aeroplanes, cars, bustling streets, and this reflect urban modernity, the pulse of changing city. The fifth is medicine and authority. So doctors like Sir William Bradshaw and Dr. Holmes, they represent authoritarian medical establishment dismissing Septimus suffering. So this critique reveals Woolf's concern with how institutions fail individuals. And the last point we can discuss in this answer, that is the balance of inner versus outer world. So Clarissa's private reflections are constantly interrupted by the outside world, the sound of Big Ben, an airplane writing in the sky, or the news of Septimus suicide. This shows Woolf's deliberate blending of personal consciousness with collective history. सो आप ये सारे पॉइंट्स को कंक्लूड करके अपना आंसर का कंक्लूजन लिखेंगे. आप इसमें एक क्वेश्चन था कि शो दैट although Mrs. Dalloway is centered on the protagonist's consciousness and it has an outside socio-historical dimension as well. So yes, Mrs. Dalloway is centered on Clarissa's consciousness, but it is equally a social and historical novel reflecting the post-war disillusionment, class tensions, and cultural shifts of the 20th century England. Woolf brilliantly weaves together the inner life of individual and outer reality of society, showing that the two are inseparable. So एग्ज़ाम में आप नॉवल को दो तरीके से दिखा सकते हैं, लाइक नॉवल इज़ अ साइकोलॉजिकल एंड social historical as well, both inward and outward, making it a true modernist masterpiece, right? चलिए नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पर चलते हैं. So the fourth question is, critically analyze how the stream of consciousness technique used to depict the labyrinth of the subtleties of human mind is executed with prowess and precision in Mrs. Dalloway. 2012 का क्वेश्चन है, 30 मार्क्स का. So in Virginia Woolf, one of the leading figures of modernist literature, revolutionized the art of novel writing by abandoning conventional linear narrative. In Mrs. Dalloway, she adopts the stream of consciousness technique to portray the complexity of human psychology. The phrase labyrinth of the subtleties of human mind. This is significant. Why? Because Woolf's novel does not simply narrate the events but dives into fragmented, shifting, and often contradictory thoughts, memories, and emotions. Through this experimental technique, Woolf captures the inner reality of life more faithfully than a straightforward plot could. सो इसमें पहला पॉइंट जो हम डिस्कस कर सकते हैं वो है स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस. स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस के भी कुछ सब पॉइंट्स हैं, जैसे कि fluidity of time, sorry for the handwriting. So this novel presents past and present merge. The narrative unfolds during a single day in June 1923, but Woolf expands time and moving in and out of characters' memories. Example for Clarissa goes out to buy flowers, suddenly recalls her youth. Suddenly she recalls her youth, her feelings for Peter Walsh and Sally Seton. So this technique shows how the human mind does not separate past, present, but lives in both simultaneously. Right? Second point is multiple consciousness. Through Clarissa is the central consciousness in the novel. So the novel moves the inner world of Septimus, Peter Walsh, Richard Delvin, Razia, Lady Bruton, etc. So Virginia Woolf gives equal importance to shell-shocked soldier Septimus and a fashionable society hostess Clarissa. This polyphonic structure demonstrates the universality of inner struggles, love, regret, trauma, and fear of death, right? Third is fragmented. Fragmented, which is non-linear thought. So human thoughts rarely follows a neat order. Woolf mirrors this by using broken sentences, shifts in tone, abruptly changes of subject. So example for we can take an example of Septimus, his hallucination, like sparrows singing in Greek, Ivan's appearing. So this is mixed seamlessly with external description. So Clarissa too shifts rapidly from her joy in buying flowers to existential musing on death, right? Fourth is interior monologue and free indirect discourse. So Virginia Woolf blends third person narrative with the first person voice of characters' thoughts. Example for Big Ben Strikes, we hear both the narrator description and Clarissa's personal response. So this creates intimacy as if readers are inside the character's mind. So yet still aware of the broader perspective, right? Fifth point is unity of form and theme. So the novel's central themes, which are time, memory, mortality, trauma, identity, demand a form that reflects the instability of consciousness. The stream of consciousness technique is not ornamental. It is not possible from to capture these subtle inner truths. So Septimus' fragmented mind could not be represented by a traditional narrative. Clarissa's nostalgia and existential fear needed fluid time shifts. So we can talk about Woolf's precision and prowess here. Like, unlike James Joyce, James Joyce Ulysses, whose stream of consciousness is chaotic, but मतलब जो जेम्स ऑफ जॉयस का जो एक टेक्स्ट है यूलिसेस, उसमें जो स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस है ना वो काफ़ी क्योटिक है. लेकिन वुल्फ का जो स्टाइल है स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस को दिखाने का, दैट इज़ मोर लिरिकल, पोएटिक एंड केयरफुली कंट्रोल्ड. Virginia Woolf's prose is rhythmic, filled with metaphors, images and recurring motifs, जैसे कि है बिग बेन, फ्लावर्स, वेव्स, इन सब की बात होती है. सो वर्जीनिया वुल्फ बैलेंसेस साइकोलॉजिकल डेप्थ विद सोशियो हिस्टोरिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट. जैसे कि उसने लंदन लाइफ को रिप्रेजेंट किया है, पोस्ट वॉर ट्रोमा को रिप्रेजेंट किया है. सो मिस वर्जीनिया वुल्फ का जो स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस है वो क्योटिक नहीं है, वो तो बल्कि पोइटिक है, बैलेंस्ड है. So in Mrs. Dalloway, Woolf uses the stream of consciousness technique with masterly precision to represent the labyrinthine nature of human mind by shifting between the inner thoughts, external reality, past and present. She dissolves the boundary between subjective and objective worlds. Thus, Mrs. Dalloway is not a novel about one day in Clarissa's life, but also a timeless exploration of how consciousness itself creates reality. सो टू एंड योर आंसर विद अ पंच लाइन, आप इसकी एक लाइन लिख सकते हो इस आंसर की, जो लास्ट लाइन होगी, with the double inverted commas, like the novel proves Worlds believe that the life is not a series of events but a series of moments, and only through stream of consciousness can such moments be faithfully captured. Right? चलिए नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पर चलते हैं. Clarissa Dalloway and Septimus Smith both live in continuous present and thus suffer from the post-traumatic series disorder. कमेंट. ये 2014 का क्वेश्चन है, 20 मार्क्स का. सो आप इंट्रोडक्शन में लिखेंगे, वर्जीनिया वर्ल्स मिसेस डैलोवे is deeply concerned with psychological condition of its characters. The novel, the phrase continuous present. So this phrase continuous present captures Woolf's narrative methods of immersing us in the immediate ongoing flow of consciousness rather than presenting events in chronological order. Both Clarissa Dalloway, Mrs. Dalloway, a wealthy society hostess, and Septimus Vaughan Smith, a war veteran, they experienced life in this unbroken stream of thoughts, memories, and perception, while Clarissa's experience is shaped by her anxiety about aging and mortality, and Septimus is a tragic form of post-traumatic stress disorder, so which is caused by World War One. So Clarissa की अगर हम इस continuous फ्रेज की बात करें, कॉन्टिन्यूस प्रेजेंट फ्रेज की बात करें, तो यहाँ पर बात होगी stream of thoughts throughout the day. So Clarissa's consciousness flows seamlessly from one moment to another, rarely pausing to separate past from present. For example, when she goes out to buy flowers, she suddenly recalls Burton, her youthful love for Sally Seton, and her rejection of Peter Walsh. So this is about her thoughts, the stream of thoughts throughout the day, right? Second point is external existential anxiety. So Clarissa lives in the present, but every moment is charged with the fear of death and nothingness. This chiming of Big Ben constantly reminds her of her passing time, keeping her in a heightened awareness of the present, right? Third point is social mask versus inner reality. So outwardly She plays the role of hostess, yet inwardly she struggles with isolation, suppressed desires, and spiritual emptiness. This gap keeps her trapped in a cycle of self examination and doubt, a psychological strain similar to Septimus trauma, though less extreme, right? सो यहाँ पर तो हमने बात की क्लेरिसा की इन 3 पॉइंट से कि क्लेरिसा का कॉन्टिन्यूस प्रेजेंट क्या है, मतलब उसका ये जो कॉन्टिन्यूस प्रेजेंट फ्रेज है ये किस तरह से रिप्रेजेंट किया गया है। अब हम बात करेंगे सेप्टिमस की। सेप्टिमस के कॉन्टिन्यूस प्रेजेंट की अगर हम बात करें तो इसमें सबसे पहला आता है वॉर ट्रॉमा। So Septimus suffers from shell shock and after serving in the World War One, so he constantly has hallucinates about his dead comrade Evans, hearing voices and seeing visions. This traumatic memories invade his present consciousness, making him unable to live a normal life. The second point is inability to distinguish past from present. For Septimus, the war is not over. The horrors he experienced continue to unfold in his mind. His hallucinations, sparrows singing in Greek, flames, Evans appearing, show how his consciousness. So, third point is psychological breakdown. So, doctors fail to treat him, misunderstanding his condition as more nervousness. Septimus feels persecuted by society and ultimately chooses suicide as an attempt from his unbearable present. So, क्लेरिसा अगर सेप्टिमस की हम बात करें तो ये दोनों ही, मतलब ये 3 पॉइंट्स और ये 3 पॉइंट में ये एक दूसरे के पैरेलल हैं। सो वर्जीनिया वुल्फ ने इन दोनों के कैरेक्टर को डिज़ाइन किया है एज डबल्स और फॉइल्स। These both characters live intensely in the present moment, but क्लैरिसा जो है she sublimates her fears through social rule, जैसे कि पार्टीज़ वगैरह है उसकी, और उसको एजिंग का डर है, उसको मोर्टैलिटी का डर है। लेकिन सेप्टिमस कम्स टू डिस्पेयर. So Clarissa hears of when she hears of Septimus' suicide at her party, she feels profound spiritual kinship with him. जबकि वो उससे कभी मिली नहीं, but still, so she is recognizing in his act of kindness. She recognizes this act a kind of defiance, a kind of defiance against the annihilation of the self. So आप इन सारे पॉइंट्स को कंक्लूड करेंगे अपने आंसर में. यू कैन राइट इन द कंक्लूजन दैट the idea of continuous present in Mrs. Dalloway is both a narrative technique and a psychological condition. For Clarissa, it means heightened awareness of beauty, time, and mortality. But for Septimus, it means a haunting prison of trauma where the past refuses to become past. So both the characters embody the different shades of modern psychological experience in post-war Britain, showing how Woolf used modernist technique to mirror the fragility of the human minds. सो एग्ज़ाम टिप आपके लिए यही है कि ऑलवेज एंड विद देयर कनेक्शन. Like Clarissa survives by affirming life through her party, Septimus can't, and his death becomes Clarissa's moment of elimination. Both of them, however, show how the continuous present defines modern consciousness. Right? चलिए नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पर चलते हैं. Mrs. Dalloway has no conventional plot or action. It conveys to us only some moments of psychological elimination. Discuss. ये 2018 का क्वेश्चन है, 20 मार्क्स का. So Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway is a landmark of modernist fiction. Unlike Victorian or Edwardian novels that relied on linear plots, external events, and dramatic action, Woolf deliberately rejects conventional storytelling. Instead, she builds her narrative around ordinary moments of life, daily life and inner working of the consciousness. So the novel spends only one day in London, June 1923, yet through Woolf's artful technique, it captures the depth of an entire lifetime, not through events but through psychological elimination. So this novel has no conventional plot. बहुत बात बहुत सही है वैसे. सो क्यों ऐसा क्यों है, इसमें कुछ पॉइंट्स है. सो द फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज द प्लॉट इज एवरीडे लाइफ. क्योंकि प्लॉट जो है खुद एक एवरीडे लाइफ है, मतलब ऐसा कोई खास प्लॉट तो नहीं है. क्लैरिसा डेलावे प्रिपेयर्स फॉर एंड hosts a party. She is preparing for a party, and that's the basic external storyline. There are no big climaxes, ड्रामेटिक ट्विस्ट और हीरोइक एडवेंचर. इस नॉवल में ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं, कोई क्लाइमैक्स, ऐसा कोई बहुत बड़ा क्लाइमैक्स नहीं है, कोई ड्रामेटिक ट्विस्ट नहीं है इस प्लॉट में, कोई हीरोइक एडवेंचर नहीं है, कोई मिस्ट्री रिवील नहीं हुई, कोई कुछ ऐसा नहीं हुआ जो कुछ हमें लगे कि भाई हाँ ये प्लॉट है. तो प्लॉट ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. इट्स अ डेली एवरीडे लाइफ स्टोरी. And this conventional plot, this actually unconventional plot, contains parallel storyline. So Septimus Warren Smith, a war veteran suffering from the hallucinations, and he's haunted by his friend Evans, lives through the same day and ends committing suicide. मतलब पूरा दिन उसका वैसे ही रहा. जब क्लैरिसा पार्टी की तैयारी कर रही है, अपने पिछले दिनों को याद कर रही है, लोगों से मिल रही है, पीटर वॉल्श से मिल रही है, अपनी फ्रेंड के सेली सेटन को याद कर रही है, उसी समय वह भी अपने हेल्यूसिनेशंस में जी रहा है. लेकिन एट द एंड ऑफ द डे मिसेस डैलोवे जो पार्टी अटेंड कर रही है और ये सुसाइड कर रहा है. मतलब they both lives the same day and ends by मतलब he ends the day by committing suicide. So this is only tragic event. तो यही एक tragic event है इस नॉवल में कि एक डेथ हो जाती है, एक सुसाइड हो जाता है. Yet even here Woolf's focus is not the act itself but the mental process leading to it. So there is absence of conventional action. So, no battles, no romances, fulfilled or broken, no major external conflicts here. Instead, Woolf emphasizes the texture of lived experience. So, यहाँ पर हमको psychological illumination देखने को मिलता है. That is a true action. Virginia Woolf believed that the life is best understood not through external events but through moments of being epiphanies where consciousness revealed truth. So Clarissa की epiphany क्या है? She buys flowers, reminds and the flowers reminds her of youth, love and fleetingness of life. Hearing about Septimus' death leads her to a profound reflection on mortality and survival. The party, seemingly superficial, becomes a moment of affirmation. So life is precious despite its brevity. Septimus moment. सो सेप्टिमस मोमेंट की बात करें तो हेलुसिनेटरी विजन्स है यहाँ पर. इवान्स, स्पैरोज, फ्लेम्स, दैट आर मोमेंट्स ऑफ psychic intensity. His suicide is not presented as an external tragedy alone, but as a psychological climax, his final escape from an oppressive world. Time as illumination. So the striking of Big Ben is not just a clock, it punctuates time, making characters pause and reflect. Each chime becomes a moment of awareness about existence, aging, and inevitability of death. Right? So modernist narrative the strategy यहाँ पर है. Stream of consciousness replaces the action. The novel's unity lies not in plot but in rhythms of thoughts, memories, and perception. So Woolf proves that psychological truth is as dramatic as external action. So Mrs. Dalloway rejects convention plot but offers something more profound, a narrative of inner lives illuminated by fleeting revelatory moments. The external story is minimal but the inner drama, Clarissa's confrontation with death, Septimus' descent into madness, and is deeply intense. For Woolf, the mind is elimination is the real action of life, right? So, thus, the novel is a masterpiece of modernist fiction, showing that psychological death can replace external action as the central drama of literature. So, exam tip इस आंसर के लिए यही है कि मिसेस डेलवे demonstrates that life is not a chain of grand events, but मतलब आप ये एंड लाइन लिख सकते हो अपने आंसर की, जो एंडिंग है वो ऐसे लिख कर सकते हो that Mrs. Talbot demonstrates that life is not a chain of grand events, but a constellation of small illuminations which, when pieced together, reveal the full truth of human existence. Right now, the next and last question for this class is: critically examine the significance of the motifs used in Mrs. Dalloway. The Big Ben, Shakespeare quotes, trees, and the flowers, etc., and their contribution to understanding of the novel. ये 19 का 2019 क्वेश्चन है, 15 मार्क्स का. So, Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway is not just a novel of character and consciousness, it is also a novel of symbols, recurring motifs, and these motifs act as anchors of themes like time, death, memory, love, and identity. So, Virginia Woolf uses everyday objects and cultural references like clocks, flowers, literature, nature as psychological and thematic mirrors of her characters. So, कुछ key motifs यहाँ पर यूज़ हुए हैं, जैसे कि ये Big Ben and the motif of time. So, Big Ben tolls throughout the novel, marking the passage of time. Its strides are objective reality. This unit it reminds characters that time is unstoppable. For Clarissa, it creates anxiety about aging and death. For Septimus, ये क्लेरिसा के लिए एजिंग और डेथ का जो एग्जाइटी उसको होती है इट्स बिग बेन से. And for Septimus, it intensifies his sense of being trapped in the presence. So it symbolizes mortality, inevitability, and relentless forward march of the modern life. Second motive is ये तो हो गया Big Ben. अब है flowers. So flowers are deeply connected with Clarissa, who begins her day by buying flowers for the party. That symbolizes life, vitality, and beauty, but also their fleeting nature. They will soon wither. So Clarissa herself is often associated with flowers, especially as a hostess trying to arrange beauty and harmony, reflect Woolf's theme of ephemeral beauty and fragility of the life. थर्ड इस क्वेश्चन में बात की गई है शेक्सपियर कोट्स की. तो शेक्सपियर के कोट्स इस नॉवल में कहीं जगह आपको दिखेंगे, जैसे कि इट रिपीटेड एल्यूजन टू शेक्सपियर, स्पेशली द सिम्बलिन फियर नो मोर द हीट ओ द सन. तो ये आप लाइन ढूंढ सकते हैं. दीज ऐसे और भी कई सारी कोट्स हैं शेक्सपियर की जो इस नॉवल में है. सो दीज लाइन मेडिटेट ऑन डेथ एज अ नेचुरल रिलीज, resonating with both Clarissa's and Septimus' story. Clarissa finds comfort in literature as a way to give meaning to suffering. Shakespeare functions as a cultural memory that helps the character process personal struggle. बाकी जो बात की यहाँ पे ट्रीज, फ्लावर्स, नेचर, स्काई. So Septimus often hallucinates through trees, birds, and natural world. Sparrow singing in Greek. For him, nature reflects both beauty and madness, sometimes consoling, sometimes overwhelming. So nature is also linked with the eternal cycle of life, death, something Clarissa contemplates. So nature becomes a mirror for characters' inner states. सो मोटिव्स जो है यहाँ पर, जैसे कि पार्टीज़ है, सोशल गैदरिंग्स भी हैं, तो वो भी एक मोटिव ही है. जैसे क्वेश्चन में यूज नहीं है ये, लेकिन ये भी एक मोटिव है. सो क्लेरिसा की जो पार्टीज़ हैं इज़ मोर देन अ सोशल इवेंट. इट सिम्बलाइजेज हर अटेम्प्ट टू affirm connection, community, and life. Yet beneath the laughter and light lies an awareness of death and isolation. The party is a microcosm of human existence, brief, glittering, and fragile. सो ओवरऑल जो ये कंट्रीब्यूशन है मोटिव्स का इस नॉवल में, वो ये है कि वर्जीनिया वुल्फ ने इन मोटिव्स को यूज़ किया टू रिप्लेस ट्रेडिशनल प्लॉट डिवाइसेस इंस्टेड ऑफ एक्शन. यहाँ पर सिम्बल्स को यूज़ किया गया. सिम्बल्स गिव्स द यूनिटी ऑफ नॉवल. They bind together Clarissa's and Septimus stories, like Big Ben striking for both, and they elevate the ordinary flowers, clocks, party into carriers of the universal meaning. So these motifs in Mrs. Dalloway, like Big Ben, flowers, Shakespearean quotes, natures, parties, they are not decorative but structural and thematic pillars of the love of the novel, and they embody Woolf's belief that truth lies in the small symbolic details of everyday life. By weaving them into the fabric of her narrative, Woolf transforms an ordinary life, ordinary day, into a profound meditation on time, mortality, memory, and human connection. Thus, motifs are, they are hidden architecture of Mrs. Dalloway and holding together its psychological and philosophical depth. So, ending line इसकी आप लिख सकते हो. If plot is minimal in Mrs. Dalloway, motifs are the real thread that stitch together the novel's मीनिंग्स, राइट. सो आज हमारा मिसेस डैलोवे का ये आखिरी लेक्चर था. सो अगली क्लास में हम एक नए टॉपिक से शुरुआत करेंगे, एक नए टॉपिक की. सो स्टूडेंट्स, विद दिस 7 best previous questions on Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, we have covered almost every major aspects of the novel, its characters, its themes, motives, stream of consciousness technique, psychological depth, and socio-historical context. And if you prepare these questions thoroughly, you will be confident enough to tackle any exam question on Mrs. Dalloway, because they give you both literary depth and exam-oriented clarity. In our next session, we will continue this series with another topic, which is also very important. So ये क्लास यहीं ख़त्म करते हैं. एंड इफ़ यू फाउंड दिस लेक्चर हेल्पफुल, डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब टू द चैनल फॉर मोर सच डिटेल एंड एग्जाम focused lectures on English literature. Your support really motivates me to keep creating these sessions for you. Thank you so much for joining today's class, and see you in the next one. Thank you.